That tastes like promotion! Get in there! We are Premier League, say we are Premier League. Buzzing. I was well nervous about this game, to be honest with you. Not as nervous as I would have been, just as the day went on. I even tweeted saying I'm not that nervous, and I've said recently like I'm not that nervous. But then as the day went on and I was driving to turf and stuff, my stomach were going, and it were a tough game. I think that Sheffield United did exactly what we expected them to do. They came at us for that first 20, 25 minutes or whatever it was. They were the better side. I feel like they stepped on to us because obviously it was more important for them to win. A draw wouldn't have been enough for them. Obviously it would have delayed our promotion party. But a draw wouldn't have been enough for them in the grand scheme of things. So they had to come at us. But thankfully, we had a lot of quality and we were able to get it over the line. I think on the balance of play, that first half, when we scored, I felt like Sheffield United could probably feel a little bit unlucky to be one goal down. And then when they equalised, I thought, that's nothing more than the Blaze deserve, to be fair. But then obviously, awful defending, awful challenge for the penalty. I haven't seen it back, I'll be honest with you. Obviously, I was at the game as well, so I haven't seen any replays or anything. But it looked an absolute stonewaller at the time. And I've just done the stream then with Jimmy from Blades Ramble on Connor's Channel 1 Leeds. Obviously, me and Connor in jubilant mood. Jimmy not so much, but fair play to Jimmy, as always, for facing the music. But even he said it was a stonewaller. I've not seen the Fleming one back, but at the time, I felt like that was a penalty. Chris of Turfcast doesn't come on as much these days as he could do, as he used to do. Sorry, but he's always in the WhatsApp chat and sending fan reactions. But he was saying it were a penalty, that first one. But from the Jimmy and Connor reckon it weren't. But buzzing with the win, obviously, buzzing to be back in the Premier League. And I tell you what, a lot of people, and this isn't sort of like me, sort of like trying to have a dig at certain people and stuff or certain accounts. But a lot of people owe Scott Parker and this team an apology. I've seen some comments from people in these chats and things like that at the start of the season say this team isn't good enough. We are playoff fodder. That were a particular person who used to always write, we are playoff fodder. And I used to always just think, like, we're clearly not. Like, even if we finish it that third or fourth, you know, we were always going to be within the conversation of automatics. A lot of people consistently sharing tweets and stuff, calling for Scott Parker's head. I seem to remember somebody did a massive rant of a video after I can't remember whether it was a Millwall defeat or what, but there's been a lot of negative crap thrown towards Scott Parker and these lads this season. And they've all proven everyone wrong. Josh Brownhill as well, another one. Coming up, absolute clutch. What did I call him after that Watford game on the fan reaction? A big moments player. Because I very often see people tweeting stuff about Josh, saying he goes missing in the big games. Scored at Bramall Lane, scored 2 today, seals promotion. If it don't get much bigger than that, it doesn't get much bigger than that. So, yeah, shout out to Josh. Fingers crossed he stays. But I am a little bit worried that he will be leaving. But now we've got promoted to the Premier League. Obviously, that might change his mind slightly. I've seen some reports that Celtic have offered him a pre-contract and stuff. This was a while ago, and once again, I always refuse to call myself ITK. I'm far from it, but I did see some links around a few months ago. And Celtic, huge club, obviously, a massive club. But would you rather play for Celtic in the SPL, or would you rather be playing in the Premier League, the English Premier League, the biggest league in the world? It's a no-brainer. But yeah, just going back to the game, I thought Sheffield United started very well without having any real moments of quality. They had a couple of early shots, didn't they? Weren't really testing Trafford. But they did step onto us. They did start the game quite well, and I felt they were unfortunate to go in at half-time 2-1 down on the balance of play. But we just had them moments. We have these moments. We have individuals with great quality. Obviously, Steve, fantastic. The amount of times that it looked like they were in, and Steve just comes from nowhere. Absolutely superb. And it was quite funny, actually. I highlighted a Watford fan sort of like criticising him after the Watford game. And to be fair, he didn't have his best game against Watford. Sort of like saying he's not even in the top 10 CBs in the Championship and all this. Absolutely superb. Easily the best defender in this league, and will not look out of place in the Premier League next season, just like he didn't last season. Obviously, he joined us halfway through the season last season and definitely improved us. But yeah, he's going to be a real asset to this club next season. Hopefully, CJ Egan-Riley is as well. Hopefully, again, the Premier League is now confirmed. So players like your CJs and that are going to be signing new deals. But anyway, second half, I actually thought Blades, I don't know, like, we shut up shop, and rightly so. Like, people can call us boring or whatever, like, I don't care. But we did the right thing. Blades had to come at us. They had to attack us. They had to equalise. They had to do more than equalise. They had to score 2 goals in that second half to make it 3-2 to them. And we just shut up shop and just said, right, fine, you need to score. We don't. Let's see if you can do it. There are a few hairy moments, admittedly. There was that one where Gus Hamer, he was superb, by the way, weren't he? I felt like we gave him a bit too much space, and I know he's good enough to be able to find his own space. There was that moment where he spun one of our midfielders. It may have even been Cullen, I don't know, apologies, in that second half. And then played a player in with a beautiful outside of the foot pass, and then thankfully for us they missed it. But other than that, like I said, there was a few hairy moments where we were like, oh God, please no. But then we never really looked like conceding. Like in that second half, at no point would I feel that we would concede. Yes, they peppered us with long balls. Yes, they peppered us with these long throws, and they always looked a little bit sort of like chaotic. But we always looked like we were going to defend them and defend them relatively well. And obviously we did do that, and absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I thought Blades were the better side in the first half. And in the second half, I don't think we really showed any real intent of getting another goal, but we didn't need to. And it was just a case of saying to Sheffield United, right, come and break us down if you can. And obviously they couldn't. Yes, they got the goal. And it's a shame that we didn't get another clean sheet. But that's 31 games unbeaten now. 31 games. If we go unbeaten for the next 2 games in the season, I think, excuse me, it's that beer, it's gassy. I think we equal Reading's record in the second tier of an unbeaten run. So absolutely superb. We deserve to be in the Premier League. The league table does not lie. We deserve to be in the Premier League, and I'm absolutely buzzing that we are back. We were fantastic for the majority of the season. We've had a few 0-0s along the way. We've had a few sort of like bumps in the road, but our blips have been these 0-0s. When Sheffield United have a blip, they lose 4 out of 5. And that's ultimately what's cost them promotion. We've been consistent over the course of the season, and we deserve to be in the top 2, and we deserve to be in the Premier League next season. But it's not done yet. It feels like it is, because obviously it's such a monumentous occasion. But we have to go and win the league now. It's going to be tough. Leeds are a brilliant side. I've said consistently all season that I do think Leeds win the league. And I'm looking at the games they've got left. They've got Plymouth away on the last day of the season. So I'm hoping that Plymouth still have something to play for in that. And obviously, Bristol City, I think they've got next at home. I think they're good enough to win both of them. Of course they are. So it's going to be tough. But we're good enough to beat QPR at QPR. And we're good enough to beat Millwall at home on the last day of the season. So for Leeds, it's Bristol City and Plymouth. For Burnley, it's QPR and Millwall. I'll be honest, I think both teams just win both games, and ultimately in that scenario, Leeds are going to win the league. But I won't lose any sleep over not winning the league. I want us to go on and win it now. Of course I do. I've always said, let's win. Let's concentrate on getting the top 2 first, then we'll talk about winning the league. We've got top 2, now go and win the league. But all that matters right now is Burnley are in the Premier League again. Get in there, Clarets, and I'll see you next season in the Premier League. Come on.